Hello, these are your weekly announcements for April 26, 2020. I'm Ethan, and welcome back to WCAT News, where today we'll be covering sports, our weather time with Jeremy Cohen, and more. But without further ado, we'll go into stay-at-home sports segment with Ethan. Welcome back to Stay at Home Sports. I'm Ethan, and yes, we actually have something to watch on TV as a sports fan. But before we get into that, we have some breaking news regarding the IHSA and the future of spring sports. That is right. On Tuesday, Craig Anderson, the executive director for the IHSA, came out with a statement that said that the IHSA has officially canceled all spring sports. Yes, that he came out saying that the state tournaments will be officially canceled, no playoffs or any sports in the spring. He said it was going to be a tough decision because he has been one of the big guys trying to push for the spring sports, but after the big decision by J.B. Pritzker to cancel all school for the rest of the year, it was tough for him to hang on to any type of sports, so he had to make the executive decision to cancel them for the rest of the year. Also included in Anderson's statement was that there is going to be a limitation on all summer contact. This means that summer camps and summer practices and all that jazz for those summer athletes will be officially canceled until it's deemed safe to return. Our hearts go out to all the seniors and the athletes who have been affected by this tragedy. On a more positive note, ESPN has finally released the long-awaited Last Dance documentary. This documentary was about the Chicago Bulls and their 6th championship run throughout the 90s. It was one of the most exciting and interesting documentaries I've watched in a long, long time, and it was super entertaining, and I recommend watching it. But don't take my word for it, take some of our peers.
Hey, it's Matthew Posner, and what I really like about The Last Dance is that we finally get a chance to see what the 97-98 Bulls team was really all about, with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman.
The Last Dance has been an amazing documentary so far. I've learned a lot about the Bulls, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen that I had not known previously. I thought it was very informative, and I thought it was very interesting.
I think The Last Dance is a really good show. I mean, a lot of people kind of just recognize Michael Jordan as like the best basketball player of all time, but the show kind of gives you like an insight on what really happened and how maybe everything didn't go exactly as you thought, and that Dak Prescott is trying to get $40 million to get carried by Zeke, and Scottie Pippen is getting paid $17 million to play basketball for 6 years.
I'm not gonna lie, it was like pretty eye-opening. I knew some stuff about Michael Jordan, like dig deeper into him, and like a lot of the stuff that I learned from watching it was pretty dope. I can say about Scottie Pippen is like my mom, when she got her driver's license like a long time ago, she met Scottie Pippen at the DMV. So like that's all I can say about Scottie Pippen. But like other than that, The Last Dance, it was pretty good.
It was great to see some things I hadn't seen in a long time, and just remember how special a player Michael Jordan was. I was surprised to learn about how much dislike there was for Jerry Krause, the general manager. But the show was awesome. I can't wait to watch the show again this Sunday and just watch the greatest basketball player of all time, possibly the greatest athlete of all time.
So last Sunday, the Chicago Bulls and ESPN released The Last Dance. It was a docuseries that chronicles the 1998 Chicago Bulls team and Michael Jordan. Let me tell you, it lived up to the hype and more. During the first 3 championships, I was in elementary school, and in the final 3 championships, I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So while I was a huge Bulls fan back in the day, attending parades, going out and getting merchandise on the streets after each championship, watching these documentaries, and seeing the behind-the-scenes footage of all the players I grew up idolizing is pretty cool, because as a 12, 13-year-old, I wasn't taking in exactly what was happening. I was just a fan. But now, as an adult, I can kind of view it from a different lens, and it's pretty cool to watch. So I'm very excited for episodes 3 and 4 here coming up.
Episodes 3 and 4, like Mr. Weeder just said, will actually be debuting today at 8 and 9 o'clock, so make sure you mark your calendars and tune in. Alrighty, thank you guys for tuning in to Stay at Home Sports. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Cohen, and it's weather time.
It's weather time with Jeremy and Cohen.
It's weather time. My name is Jeremy Cohen, and welcome to Weather Time. Let's storm in with our weekend report. It's gonna rain! This weekend, Friday and Saturday, there's a chance of it showering, so make sure you're aware about that. And on Sunday, it looks like it's going to lighten up on April 26, 2020. And for the rest of the week, it's going to be a mix of sunny weather and rainy weather. Lows is going to be all over the 40s, peaking at a high throughout the week at around the early 60s and hopefully peaking at 62 degrees. Now, obviously, these are all possibilities, but that's kind of our estimate for this week. Now, here is Jurgen the Popcorn Man with this week's fun fact. In the 1800s, ketchup was sold as medicine. Thank you, and thank you for joining us today on Weather Time. My name is Jeremy Cohen. Stay dry, stay inside, and have a nice week. See you next time.
Hey everyone, it's Natalie from WCAT News, and this week I'm starting a new segment with some easy recipes for you to try out during quarantine. Since many people like smoothies out, that's what we're going to start out with. So this is my berry smoothie recipe. First, we're going to start out with about 1.5 cups of frozen fruit. This mix has strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries in it. And you can use fresh fruit instead, but I would rather save mine for a later date and have that just sitting in my house, so I'm going to use frozen. Next, I'm going to use a banana. You can use nicer ones instead, but I would rather use my older ones instead of throwing them out. Next, I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. These have tons and tons of nutrients and vitamins in them, so I really suggest getting some if you don't have any already. Next, I'm going to use a cup of ice and a cup of water. And you're ready to go. So just grab your blender. I'm using a Vitamix, but you can use any blender that works. I like to add my banana first so that it helps blend up the frozen ingredients. Then just add the rest of your stuff, add your fruit. I also suggest to let your frozen fruit sit out a little bit before you blend it because you don't want to blow out your blender's motor. So I would suggest being very wary about that because you definitely don't want to break it. Then you'll just add the rest of your ingredients until you get it to the desired consistency after you blend. You also want to make sure that before you turn your machine off that there's no more chunks floating around because that wouldn't be desirable. But if you do have trouble blending, turn your machine off, add some water, then stir it around and try again. Or if you have a press like I do, then I would suggest using that, and that'll help you push it around and you'll get the consistency that you would like. This recipe will make about 2 glasses or 1 smoothie bowl that you can top with fresh fruit or nuts or whatever you prefer. And yeah, that's it for this recipe, so let me know if you try it out. I'd love to see.
Welcome to Snacks with WCAT. Now I know earlier Natalie showed you how to make smoothies, and that's great. They're super healthy and they're great for you, but sometimes you're lazy. I know in quarantine, it's hard to be able to work, and sometimes you just don't have a blender. So, what's a great snack that doesn't require any extra work and that you can just shovel food into your mouth? Well, recently, my favorite snack has been pita chips and hummus. Now, pita chips are essentially pita, which is a bread, just baked extra crispy. So it's a bread chip, and that's great because it's not fried, and it doesn't feel like you're a brick after eating some fried chips. And hummus comes from chickpeas. And the great thing about chickpeas is that they are legumes. So they have a lot of fiber, they have a lot of protein, and they're relatively cheap. So you don't have to break the bank for this. It's also a plant source of protein, which is great because Cameron also showed you earlier how some of the farms are struggling to get meat to the consumer, and some of the shelves at the grocery store may be empty and they don't have any meat. So if you need some protein and if you're hungry and you just want a snack and you're lazy, pita chips and hummus are a great way to go. Up next, movie and TV review with Emmy and Peyton.
Hey Wheeling, we're back again to recommend another movie and TV show. I'm Peyton.
And I'm Emmy.
Today I'm going to be recommending the TV show Outer Banks. It's very new, and the characters are great. Like there's none that you've seen already. They're all new. They're great actors. Mystery, a little bit funny sometimes. It's a great show. I binged it the first day it came out, so I would highly recommend it. To you, Peyton.
Yeah, I'd say that one's on my watch list.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so the movie that I'm recommending today is The Incredibles 2. If you've seen the first one, you've probably liked the second one. It brings back our favorite superhero family, and it shows the struggles that they go through with the world that they're living in, and it's really funny and good.
Yeah. So those two are on Netflix, and well, that's all. So hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. Give our shows a try. Give our movies a try. So I'm Emmy.
And I'm Payne.
And you stay classy like high school.